everyone, this is Jennifer from JE Photography Design. Today I wanted to do a little recap or a revamp of the flower or snow angels templates that I have available, or that you have made your own template and want to know how to take your child and put them into a pre-made digital template. So this was just a really quick rough one that I had done to give you an idea. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to walk through how to take one child and put it into, I'm going to use this template. So this is one of mine. I have quite a few available in our stores. I have 2 stores available. One is in Etsy, which is JE Photography Design, and the other one we have is www.photographersdigitalmarket.com. I'll link both of those in the description when I post. So what you're going to do is either make your own digital backdrop, or you're going to purchase one off Etsy, or maybe your friend has one, or whatever. So you're going to take your digital backdrop and you're going to open that in Photoshop. Next, what you want to do is have your photo of your child. So for me, what I did, as you can see, is I put them on this was the back of a floor that I have. So some kind of like lighter color for the contrast, lighter color background. And I stood up on a ladder and shot directly down. So then that way I could get some of the natural shadowing here that I can bring into my photo. So that's all I did for this one. Now what I'm going to do, excuse me, bear with me, is I'm going to unlock my photo. And now I'm going to go over to my quick selection tool. And I want to select subject. And it's going to do its best to select for me. And as you can see, it missed little parts here and there. Missed a little part of his sock. So I'm just going to kind of drag my cursor around using my mouse to get those little parts. See if I got everything here. Everything else. I'm just going to actually pull in a little bit of that shadow there. Not much, but okay, so now I want to go back up to the top again where it says select and mask. And I want to, there it is. So I have it set right now on, it's called on layers, so that way I can see the transparent background. And I want it to go to a new layer with a layer mask. And I'm not going to touch anything else right now because it doesn't, for this, I don't really care. So now it's taken that and put it on a new layer. What I'm going to do is use my move tool. Click on that. And I'm just going to literally click on my little boy. As you can see, I can move him around now because he's been cut out and he's on a layer mask. I'm going to move him into my berries and candy, or whatever you're using. I'm going to plop him down there. So he needs to be a little bit bigger. So I'm going to do Control T to transform him, Command T on a Mac. And I'm going to just do that. So right now he's kind of a little bit not fitting great, and you can see it's really harsh right here where it cut out. So I'm going to go into the mask itself and, sorry, I was just clicking on those levels there. I don't think, if you purchase mine, I don't think it has those, but anyways, disregard that. I'm going up to my layer mask, going to my paintbrush, and I want black over white, and I want a pretty soft brush. So I'm going to increase my screen because I want to brush some of this away, but I don't want it at 100% opacity. I kind of want it at 75-ish or whatever, so that way it blends in, like it kind of feathers itself in. So I'm just going to go around, and again, I'm just going to do this roughly for the video because I only have X amount of time to record. So I'm just doing this really quick. If this is yours, you're going to want to go in, obviously, and spend a little bit more time on the masking, making sure everything looks you know, really neat and tidy and makes sense. Shadows are falling where they're supposed to be falling, etc. So, like I said, I'm just doing this quick. And I think that is most of it. Here at his hand a bit. And then around his head. Around his head, I'm going to up that opacity because it's really white up there. And I want to make sure that it's all kind of cleaned up. Again, take your time doing this. I'm rushing just to get it done. So, now, once I have that in, oh, I see some on his hand here. Once I have that done, what I normally do now is I'm going to, on that actual layer, I'm going to right click and I want to, what I want to do is rasterize that layer, but it's not going to let me right now. I want to, okay, not sure why it's not letting me do that. Apply, oh, okay, sorry, I have to apply the layer mask first. So what I did is I clicked on the layer mask and I right clicked and then there was something that said apply layer. So now that layer mask is completely applied, and if I need to go in and say I missed something, you can always create another layer mask, but for now I'm going to leave it as is. So now what I like to do is I like to kind of move him around so he kind of fits into the snow angel. So clicking on that layer, I'm going up to Edit, Puppet Warp, and this is like playing kind of Pinocchio in a way. So this little pin here that I'm going to put in his head is going to stop his head from moving, and I kind of just do it in a couple different spots in his torso. And then what I do is I grab his arm and I pull his arm down. And maybe I pull this one down a bit, and maybe I move this leg out a bit, and maybe I move this leg out a bit. Just, you know, I kind of have fun with it, make it fit how I want. Maybe I want him to look like he's bent, he's a little bit straighter. So if you don't apply your layer mask before you do this, it kind of creates weird little lines where you've done your layering or where you've done your masking. So you want to make sure that you apply your layer mask first. So as you can see, he is all in now. Now he kind of looks like he's floating, even though I do have a little bit of a shadow here. And you can actually see the line right there from the shadow because I did the puppet warp. So I usually go back in and feather that back. But again, time constraint, I'm not going to do that right now. So on the actual little kid's layer, I'm going to double click it. And it's going to bring up your layer style. So here you can make a drop shadow. And you can create different drop shadows. So let's say I'm going to do that one and this one. And then I'm going to click on the drop shadow. Like I just clicked on it. And it gives me a bunch of options. And you can play around with this, right? So if you multiply, it's darker. And then if you move this around, your shadow will move to different angles wherever you want it to go. Distance will move it farther away from him or closer to him. Spread. So just play around with them and kind of get it to where you think you want it. Size kind of feathers it. And I don't know. Let's just leave it like that for now. So oh, excuse me. I do not like the look of this here, so I just added a layer mask back to my paintbrush. And I'm just going to go in and just take that back away. Delete that. Paint that off. So, that's usually what I do. And then, if you really wanted for fun, you can, I'm going to go File, Place Embedded, and then on my desktop, I have some flower dust. And you can just find these. You can probably find some on Etsy. You can find some PNG files. You know, they're all over the place. And all I'm going to do is, so normally again I'm going to take my time when I do this. I'm going to put it on there, and you see there's some over here. I'm going to have to mask that off, but I'm just going to give you an idea of what this does. So once it's on, I'm going to lower the opacity a bit because I don't want it super dark. And let me zoom in for you, 60%. And what it does is it kind of puts that flower look on him, so he's not just, you know, a perfectly clean shirt and pants when he's supposed to be playing in the snow or in the flower or whatever you want it to be. So you can see that here. What I'm going to do is add a layer mask, and I want to be at 100% opacity, and you can just brush that away. Again, go into detail, zoom in and out, whatever you need to do to brush that off. So I usually do that and kind of add a few up by his arms and stuff like that, so it looks more natural. Let's go back out. And if you wanted, if you don't like, you know, that, use my pointer. If you don't like this snow here, if you think it looks odd or whatever, you can Control-Shift-N, it makes a new layer. Command-Shift-N on the Mac makes a new layer, I believe. I'm going to use my clone tool. And if you just use your clone tool, make sure it's set to all layers up at the top. Use your clone tool here. I'm going to hide the boy for a second. You can use your clone tool. And it's supposed, there we go. My computer's slow today, so bear with me. So we can just do this. All I did was take part of this and cloned it up. So when I turn him back on today, I'm going to move the clone down underneath his layer. You can see it takes that away. So it depends, it's completely up to you, what you like, what you don't like. So if I turn that clone layer off, and then you have that snow stuff there, it's completely up to you. This is your project, your image, your imagination. You do as you want and what you think looks good. From this point on, you would be able to save it as a JPEG. I would not suggest saving over your master file because you're going to end up with problems. But sometimes I save as a separate PSD, so I would name it Berries and Candy, you know, Kid 1 or something like that. And then save it as the JPEG, so you can either send out to your client or post on Facebook or whatever you need to do. Yeah, so that's the best way to do this. Hopefully that helps anyone who has been working on these and is stuck or wants to learn how to do them. And if you're looking for any others, like I said, I have some in my Etsy store and in my Photographer's Digital Market store. If you have any problems, feel free to reach out to me. I would love to help you out if I can. And yeah, just have fun with them. And most of all, have a happy holidays, everyone. Not sure what you celebrate, if you celebrate, but regardless, stay safe, healthy, and have a great rest of the year. And thanks for watching. Bye-bye.